Mr. Fantastic, how are you doing?
Great. How about yourself, Dr. Thunder?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. So, first of all, I want to say thank you for your service. I know you're
Thank you,
about
man.
to,
Thanks.
you're about to, well, tell us what you're about to do.
So, hey, shout out to everybody, man. Miss Fantastic 824, if you don't already know, 18 years active duty and 18 plus. This will be hopefully, by all means, my last deployment, okay, on a United States Navy naval vessel. I'm going to be doing a 6 to 7 month, deployment. Pretty much don't know whether or not we're doing a lot of Fifth Fleet or stuff, or we go hit the Gulf, maybe one or two. But pretty much just, man, this is the culmination of my career, the last ride, as they say. Fantastic's last fantastic voyage, hopefully.
Uh, all right. Well, safety to you, sir. All right. And, I was just, I came up for a little bit on a stream that you just finished, and it had to do with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. That wasn't the specific name of it, but that was a frequent topic, and sometimes heated. So what do you think about this case? You can go any way, any place you want to go to with this question, but what do you think about the case? And do you think that it's just another one of these it's one of these tactics used by the media to sort of keep us distracted?
Well, I definitely agree with that. I'm glad you said that. A lot of these things are media distractions, specifically targeting, black people and black audiences, to get us drunk on the, racism thing. Again, I don't know how you can make a racism argument about a white young man shooting 3 white men and, expiring 2 of them, all of them which, according to the law and the evidence of the case, have been proven as, violent assailants against this man's life. Okay, there was an attempt against one black man, but that black man is seen clearly on camera, kicking this man in the face while he's down in the concrete after he's been, hit with a skateboard and other objects or whatnot, what have you. So even if you wanted to make that argument, the one black man that he did shoot at, he did not track this man. He did not continue trying to fire at this man after he was no longer an immediate threat to him. Again, man, I just think, it's the constant racism angle that a lot of black people seem to cling to for whatever reason, even when it has absolutely nothing to do with them. I've yet to have anyone tell me what would benefit that black people could receive by Kyle Rittenhouse getting a guilty verdict in one of the clearest self-defense cases in the history of, just court cases, period.
Yeah, on your stream earlier, I thought it was an interesting, I can't remember who made the comparison, but I thought it was an interesting comparison between Arbery and Rittenhouse, where both Arbery and Rittenhouse were in the right, but Arbery lost his life, though he was in the right. Rittenhouse survived. He was also in the right. Obviously, guns were involved in both cases, but primary difference there is that Arbery, of course, didn't survive. He was shot to death. But when you look at the way the facts in the court case and even the optics of it, black folks had no problem siding with Arbery, but seemed to have an issue with Rittenhouse, and the only difference seems to be pigment. What do you think of that?
Well, again, we heard the classic, white supremacy and, the justice system isn't for the black man. A lot of these things that just are embedded, unfortunately, into Black America. And like you said, self-defense, whether it be armed or unarmed, is self-defense. So
Right.
when you do this and you make these racial exceptions for my side, my side, my side, the thing is no side wins. If you can't apply honor and justice is supposed to be blind. It's supposed to be across the board, no matter race, gender, age, religion. Any of those things. It's supposed to be the same across the board. That way, so everybody gets a fair shake. Is that the way it works out all the time? Of course not. But for the most part, again, when you apply those principles, hopefully in good faith, it's supposed to turn out that way. And what black people don't understand, and like I said, I don't. This is why I appreciate it. OG participating is like there aren't enough black people that have experienced true racism for them to wave the flag as they do. I've had direct racist things done towards me. I've been called the N-word, hard R, by an old white man. I'll never forget that episode. But at the same time, like you said, that's that white man got the hell up out of there real quick, okay? Because he couldn't just call me that and stick around. He had to, he had to move around. Compared to my grandfather or great grandfather, to where if a white man did that to them, they just had to shut up and take it. Turn their head, look down, not give them eye contact, and have no recourse and have no self-defense of their own.
Right. One of the things that's quite despicable about the what the media is trying to do, what those in the media, what sort of the hard left is trying to do with some of these talking points, like nothing is improved, it's all the same, it's the same as it was in the 50s or in the 40s and all of this kind of stuff, like we've made no progress, like nothing is different at all. It seems to be a massive disrespect to folks that live through those time periods.
I agree. Right.
I mean, yeah, and sometimes you laugh so you don't cry, because this stuff is so ridiculous. Really, you really think that? I mean, I just think about the way that I live. My son is 8. My son's in private school. I have in private school, and I have him in private school because this is a necessity, because I don't like what's going on in public schools. There's a lot of okay, so I'm in education, right? So now I'll take some issue with the educational product itself, and I think we saw through the pandemic, we saw the difference between what a lot of the private schools were able to offer when everything was locked down and what public schools were able to offer. And in situations where students were not really learning anything, they were at home, fine, that's fine, but they weren't really learning what they usually would have learned. Whereas many of the private schools, they figured it out. They figured out how to get it done so that the kids were actually learning the material that they needed to, and they weren't like massively behind the next year. So we can talk on that topic, but something that I'm really concerned about, especially for black boys, is just, I mean, we know there's been this feminization of the education system. We know that that's the case, and we know that there are crosshairs on black men and boys. That's definitely still is true. Now, I don't know that it does us any service by drumming up imaginary goblins and gremlins when... Thank you so much for watching my video so far.
If you'd like to support, there are several ways to do so below. Also, likes are free. Please comment, share, and subscribe. Now back to the video.
When when there are real ones that we could focus on and we could do something to actually fix a lot of those problems.
Well, I directly suffered from that, man. It's funny you say that, and I'm pissed. I was infuriated when the whole pandemic lockdown thing happened. Me and my son, we were staying in Virginia at the time. Virginia was one of the main states, one of the last states to go back to actual in-seat learning versus the virtual learning. And during the process of that, man, even I saw the dearth and the just disservice that my child was getting along with other children. Because I would ask him, well, what are you guys doing? It would be, okay, we got out early today. Okay, I'm going over with him trying to review over things, and now we have this new curriculum and the way. Well, hold on, well, why is she telling you to do it that way? We got to do it this way. And then when I, not necessarily challenge the teacher, but I'm asking her, well, okay, why are you guys teaching them this way, which is more complicated, or a longer road to get to point A to point B? Well, sir, this is what we have. This is the way we teach it now. And it's like they're deliberately, like you said, throwing a wrench in the system, or in the learning process. What I'm saying, making it more just unnecessary steps to get to the same simple answer. And when my son left Virginia and came back to Florida, since Florida had been doing in-seat schooling, one of the first states to get back to it, he was drastically behind, and it cost me, like you say, it cost me a good little bit of money just to get him caught up. Which so I could have put that towards a private school tuition. In hindsight, had I just was just going to end up doing it anyway. Once he got back to Florida, so yeah, man. A lot of people, I don't think understood that. What the detriment that happened to, especially young black boys, because that too. My son, boys are more active just naturally. Again, from a scientific standpoint, testosterone, boys have more energy. They have to move around, all these different things. And like I say, you really get into it. But the first thing they want to tell you is that, oh, well, he has behavioral issues, or ADHD, all these different things, right? And they're quick to, give these prognosis and these conditions or whatever to a young black boy, when it just be something as simple as, okay, he's just he's a boy. But like you said, when we were kids, all these things didn't
Right.
exist. My bad. Go ahead.
No. I'm right with you.
Okay.
I'm amening.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. We were
Yeah,
kids.
when we were.
Yeah, a lot of these things didn't exist, man. And like I said, once you start getting an understanding, this is my first. This is like so. This is crazy to hear. Like what I'm saying, you, of course, you're being an educator, but at the same time, having this realistic point of view of as to how what I mean. Which this is important, brothers like you, being in not just education but this space, so brothers can understand. But there's just so many things that have changed, and there's so many things that are behind it that people act like they don't see. Okay, if I can diagnose your child with ADHD, okay, well, now I got him on a prescription for however long, and then if you get him that, now the school gets more government funding because they have children that's of this and that. So yeah, it's a horrible machine that where the main target and the crosshairs end up on young black boys.
Yeah, and I don't want to go too far into this, but of course I agree that Black Lives Matter. I don't know a lot of folks that don't agree with that basic sentiment. But the issue that I have, of course, along with a lot of folks in the Black Manosphere, is that it's the fine print. You know, it's the stuff in that in their sort of manifesto that, you know, the original version of which had in its crosshairs the nuclear family. And I gotta tell you, for something to be supposedly for us, black people, destroying the nuclear family doesn't seem like the best way to benefit us. It seems like our communities, or the reason that they are the way that they are, is because of the destruction of the nuclear family. Okay? And we can go back historically, we can show how state-sanctioned terror was a big part of what got that ball rolling, and then incentives that have been put in place to incentivize our women to have kids without us. You know, and so we see what the destruction of the nuclear family does. We already know that. So that's a primary issue that I have with that organization. And all of the donations that have been collected, if you look at the way that they have been spent, the money has not been spent to substantially help black men and boys. We end up being the ones that are still left out. And when they look at the statistics, when you look at the statistics on this, it's like black men and boys, we're the only ones that are doing worse. So it's a little disheartening. But, you know, I'll say one reason that I have found myself in the Manosphere, in the Black Manosphere, is because I can't find another place, not in academia, not in black church, not in the barbershop anymore, certainly nowhere in the public square, are we even allowed to say these kinds of things, to have these kinds of conversations with the kind of frankness and forthrightness that I hear in this space.
Well, of course not. And again, one of the great things about this space is, like you said, even those, you know, it's so only so far you can go in a barbershop conversation. Sports, you know, entertainment, you know, women, you know, things like that. Of course, when you start getting into stuff as deep as this, you're going to, you know, turn some heads if you have anything negative to say about Black Lives Matter. And like you said, the evil genius part of the whole Black Lives Matter thing is, like you said, who could disagree with that? Of course, I believe Black Lives Matter, but like you said, that fine print is a mother. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to James Brown. You know, that's really what it is. And like you said, so many people had no idea to the, you know, communist and Marxist ties that these people have, and this space was one of the main places to point that out. And like you said, they went from destroying the nuclear family to, you know, kicking it up a notch to directly targeting patriarchy. And shout out to the brother, he's on the Killer Profane guy, I can't think of his name right now, dark skinned dude, that actually challenged him to that. And he's like, oh, whoa, what do you mean? You know, same thing. I'm for Black Lives Matter, but why is Black Lives Matter talking about they're going to destroy the patriarchy? And like you said, what does that say? That's telling you that even though we're saying Black Lives Matter, we're at war against the black man. So how can those two things exist at the same time?
That's right.
So yeah, man, it's crazy as to when you actually can, like you said, put those reading glasses on and clearly see that fine print. You're going to be ostracized because you're trying to get other people to see it and understand. You know, ultimately, how can this be a positive if they're literally promoting and hoping for and putting things in place to destroy the very essence of, you know, black people? Because you can't have, you know, black people without a black family. You know what I'm saying? At least not, you know,
That's right.
in the best possible
That's
position. So, you know, it's just so many different things, like you said, for you to come to this space and have those truly, you know, honest And even brothers that may not disagree or whatnot, what have you, have the full conversation, and not worried about having to fight your way up out of the barbershop because somebody don't like what you're saying.
Or get excommunicated from the church,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you can't come here no more.
You talking all that?
It'll mess your hairline up
Oh,
on purpose.
man.
It'll be with the high right, low left
Right.
on your hairline.
Yeah, go in looking like you and come out looking like me. All right. So, one thing about the space that is, I think it's quite healthy is you have a lot of different kinds of folks, a lot of different age groups. You've got different positions on things, different approaches. I mean, you have cats that are just like, teaching game. You've got folks that are, academics, folks like Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, shout out to him, Dr. Ronald Neal. You got Green Gorilla. You've got, let's see here. You've got folks like the lead attorney. You've got Dennis Sperling. So you've got folks with different backgrounds. Pocket watching with JT. So you've got those kinds of like professionals in this space, and you have folks that are encouraging, saving your money, investing, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Shout out to Solar TV 84. I mean, and folks, talking about real estate and get your money right. Shout out to Ramil Amir. I mean, you have all kinds of different information. You've got the level up cats, you like the roommates. You've got the folks that are pro marriage, like Kevin Samuels, and of course I'm pro marriage. You've got the folks that are adversarial towards marriage, like CGA. I mean, you've got a lot of different kinds of folks in the space, and of course what that's going to mean is you're going to have some squabbling at times. I was listening to a BGS video from earlier today, shout out to him, and he was saying that this sort of the manosphere is going to end. The world is, they're coming for the Black Manosphere. It's not going to last. This kind of talk seems to be cyclical, and it seems to be like a spring fall kind of cycle. Every once in a while, it comes back around. Oh, it's that time again, and something starts to, get unsettled. What are some of your thoughts about maybe some of the recent squabbling that's going on right now? In the space.
Hey, 'tis the season to be beefing. La 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 la. Hey, it just happens again. Like for the most part, sometimes some things go too far. But for the most part, it's just a brotherhood. Like with your brothers, I got anybody that's got a real brother. Man, my brother got me so mad one day. I think my brother's 20. He's born in 96, so he should be going on 25, right? Yeah, so my brother, no, my sister was born in 26, and my brother's born in 2000, so my brother's 20, just turned 21. So, my brother was living with me because, my mom got sick or whatever, and my brother was, I want to say about 16, 17 years old, whatever, in high school, and it was just got to the point of where, like, I'm his guardian, but I'm his brother at the same time. He pissed me off. He got me so mad one day where, I'm talking to him. He's not, he's not registering or letting me know that, like, what I'm saying to him. He's like, he don't care. So I had to physically, like, grab him. And it was so, bad that I didn't hit him or punch him or anything. But I picked him up, my brother. Like, I picked my brother. He got to be I would say he's about like 170, 180 pounds. brother just up off the ground by his arms, and I didn't even know it. My ex and my sister were there. We all trying to have like a little family intervention, and it got physical. So being in this space, I mean, the best thing about this is, hey, it just gets verbal. The same way, with a brother or whatever, your blood brother, things get a little heated, or your best friend. Friends fight, brothers fight, and that's gonna happen. Like I said, I've seen it happen, and I've heard that Manosphere is gonna die, and Manosphere is dead. I've literally, I can't even keep count. I can't keep count, and I've only been here 2 years, so I don't know how many times I've heard, the Manosphere is dead, the Manosphere is over, all these different things. But at the same time, like you said, me being here, I've seen the craziest beefs. I've seen some people, you go your separate way, whatnot, what have you. And even if you go your separate way, every now and again, they pick it back up and somehow start beefing again. And I've seen some people in some of the worst situations and, biggest beefs, make things up. Shout out to, I think, what, Jap and Tommy Sotomayor. I saw Jap with in a picture with him dapped up or whatever on IG some early on in the year. Like he said, hey, real bosses, real men come together and, you squash stuff out, man. Because, hey, who knows? You guys can have your philosophical differences, or, just, you may just, come to a rough point in your life. Somebody might have something going on. That's how I always try to handle things out. You never know what a brother got going on in his personal life, because as transparent as brothers are, you can't ever be fully transparent. You can't, because if you do, these dudes gonna use it against you. Okay, don't ever put all your
Yeah.
business out there. All right, but so you
Yeah.
never know, and hopefully those real, true friendships and brotherhoods and stuff like that gets mended, and can what I'm saying, come back together. But yeah, man, it's the beef is always gonna be here. That's black people. That's us, man. They can't get around it.
Now, one of the beefs, as it were, seems to be a sort of OGs versus young bucks sort of beef or squabbling. It's kind of, and part of this is kind of like a rite of passage, where you get to a certain place and you start to assert yourself, and you're asserting yourself against the sort of old guard, and um, and certain folks can be rather outspoken about their uh, about their uh, distaste for certain trends that they uh, may be seeing. One of those trends seems to be women in the Black Manosphere. Now, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think is that something that you welcome? Is that something that you have an issue with? Um, and do you think that's going to be sort of a growing thing, or is that just kind of a fad right now?
Again, that's something that I welcome, because it's inevitable. Anywhere where you have successful men, or just men in general, women are going to come there. And again, from the
Yep.
time I've been here, when I first came to the space, there was one female content creator, Crimson Cure. Back then, she was known as Kendra D. Then I think the Sister George, and shout out to Sister George, shout out to Concrete Rose. They started the Woman's Perspective that came through BGS, from my understanding. And now, of course, dun dun dun, Jessica X. So and the funniest thing about this, again, from a business aspect or whatever, at the end of the day, no matter what you want to say about this is business. Okay, there are very, very few people that do content that don't have either a super chat button or their Cash App posted. Okay, all right. This whole thing, as where, like, people extracting resources, it's just really a red herring. And at the end of the day, wherever, just like if it's men that associate with some of these women, these women's channels over in the other sectors and whatnot, what have you, few and far between, but indeed they still do. So um, you trying to keep women away from men, whether it be the internet, and that's it. This is the internet, people. Again, man. And the funny thing about it, again, especially the number one thing or person, the villain, is this whole Jessica X thing, or camming up and all this other stuff. But again, there's plenty of people that don't cam up. Men don't cam up, which again, it's good reason. I don't blame them. If I would have known what I know now, I would have never cammed up, because once you do that, and that just gives people one other thing to go, and then people start trying to get into your personal life and doxing and all these different things. But as far as the women going, like you're trying to stop the inevitable. I mean, you're going against any and everything, whatever. Again, as much as I subscribe to these guys or whatever, but Fresh and Fit is the proof of that. Like, come on, like I said, they're doing numbers strictly off of the female draw, you know, ex girls, and you know,
Right.
it's there. Everybody loves it. So I mean, if you're gonna be against, you know, women making money in space or whatnot, what have you, all these different things, whatever, what have you, and you know, alleged, you know, their background and stuff that goes on, however they go to get those women involved in the shows or whatnot, what have you. You're trying to be hypocritical, man. I'm just saying. I mean, because at the end of the day, why do I care? I don't find myself in competition with a woman. If she's in the same space as me or whatever, hey, she's doing her thing, I'm doing mine. We have a similar message, we have a different message. Again, I'm not going to put myself in competition with her because, I mean, she's just not my competition. A woman can speak from my talking points, you know, and relay that to women, and I guess put a woman's spin on it, but she'll never ever be able to give the raw essence and same message that I give. It's not my fault that dudes want to, you know, go listen to her because she has, you know, the right anatomy for their, you know, for their attention, you know. And if that's why you listen to a female, that's your fault. It's not hers.
Good points. Good points. You know, Mumia Obsidian Ali, he called Jessica X Weapon X. And he believes that, at least back when he was referring to her as Weapon X, that women in the space is inherently a positive thing. Those that are good communicators of the message. Because naturally, women are going to be more likely to listen to other women that are saying these things. There's a lot of women that will listen to what it is that folks in this space are saying, and they just won't listen to it just because it's guys that are saying it. Now, I think that there are other women that have gotten smart, and they, you know, they're ninja watching. Shout out to Fresh and Fit. They're ninja watching, and you know, because they're doing their reconnaissance. They're trying to figure out what are guys actually saying. And I saw an interview. O'Shea Duke Jackson interviewed Courtney Michelle, and that was what she said. She said that she came in and she just started listening to folks, and she started to realize that a lot of the stuff that she was doing was the exact stuff that men were complaining about. And so she started to change the way that she was orienting. Now, you know, if it's being used as a strategy or a tactic to just get a guy and then let me just revert back to the way I was before, then I'll have an issue with that. But to the extent that actually the information is being absorbed and actually causing folks to actually change the way that they're thinking about these topics, change themselves, then that seems like a positive thing. Someone I frequently collaborate with, Chantel Simone, who's blowing up right now. That's what she does. And early on when I listened to her, it sounded like she was parroting a lot of Kevin Samuels' points. And so I was kind of like, I wonder if she just, I mean, how much of this is she actually believe, and how much of this is sort of a business model? How much is it she's just trying to get paid? And after interacting with her, collaborating with her on a number of things, we've got a show together on Solo TV 84 channel called Case Closed. And that show's got Ike Ogiamian, myself, Chantel, Ramil Amir, and then of course Solo. And but she is very much capable of defending the points, making her own arguments, and does not seem to be just simply parroting the points. It seems like she's actually through some sort of transformation, which makes what it is that she's saying actually believable. She claims that the message is for women, that her platform is to help women to make better decisions and to incorporate some of the things that men are actually saying. And so I don't have any reason to think that she's not, being honest when she says that. And so it seems to me that it's a positive thing. I mean, we can say what our perspective is, but until actually some women actually start to embrace what we say our perspective is, it's not really going to change anything.
Well, that's the, like I said, that's the dice roll you go through. Is she doing it for the sake of her own benefit? Is it genuine? And just only time will tell. But that's it. But the thing about that, again, a lot of people like to apply things and act like it's just gender specific. Human beings, of course, biology and things are, a little different. Testosterone, estrogen, whatever. But for the most part, man, everybody wants to win. Okay, everybody's trying to do. Everybody's out for themselves first. So a lot of things that I see people put in, this thing where, like, oh, the women are this, the women are that, like the women are trying to take. Not saying they aren't. Okay, women are survivalists. Okay, women are going to do whatever it takes in order for them to, be able to, eat, sleep, have a shelter, all those different things, whatnot, what have you. So they're thinking about, conforming to the best possible position for their advantage first. That's their makeup. But at the same time, there's a lot of guys out here that do the same thing. Okay, so again, man, I think we turn the focus on women, the women, where okay, you get the women out when the dudes are allowed to do the same thing, and it's okay. Well, you're trying to check me, but here's this grown man, doing the same thing as me. It's a grown man that has all these, these feminist or feminine ways about himself, and he's trying to passive aggressiveness, no accountability, all those different things. So the women, definitely you have to be careful, but I think we need to just start applying that to just people in general, because you gotta learn who you're dealing with. And once, like as a wise man once said, once a person shows you who they are, believe them.
That's right. So this morning, I did it was an impromptu live stream, and I was just sitting in my car, and it was a stream. The name of it was Why I Got Married. There's especially, I don't know, it seems like this is mounting over the last several months, and of course we already know that there are sort of the protagonists and antagonists, the pro-marriage folks and the anti-marriage folks. We know that exists. And so the reason that I felt, like I wanted to do a stream called Why I Got Married is, if part of the mission of the Black Manosphere is at least to talk about issues that relate to the Black community, and if we have isolated specific issues, the breakdown of the Black family in particular, fathers not being present in the lives of their children, especially the lives of their sons. If we've isolated certain things that have disproportionately created problems for us, it seems to me that we can't just totally we can't just totally abandon marriage altogether. Now, one thing that I said in my stream was I totally understand the pitfalls and why a lot of folks are like, you know what, this is not something I want to do. The legal system, I understand how, I mean, I know a lot of, fortunately, I didn't have to go through like a child custody kind of situation or paying child support. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. You know, so fortunately, I didn't have to go through that kind of stuff. But I know a lot of folks that did. And there's lots of negative things that can happen to you in marriage. But what is the solution to our community's problems? Is it just to basically pump and dump and remain single for life? And then what kind of legacy does that leave? What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah. I'm recently in the process of my divorce. Just filed paperwork, whatnot, what have you. So before, probably, well, not before, but shortly after I leave or whatever, my divorce will be finalized. Me and my ex, we agreed upon, the terms or whatnot, what have you. No child support, equal custody, all those different things and whatnot, what have you. And it's just, two people that pretty much we spend our time together. We learned a lot. We grew together. But as they say, nothing good lasts forever. So we agreed to go our separate ways. For me, just the whole state-sanctioned marriage aspect of it is just not. It's just not a wise thing for any man today. It's just not. Even though I turned out great in my situation, a lot of brothers find otherwise. And my thing is, I'm all for two-parent households. I'm all for two people getting together, being in a monogamous relationship, raising a child together, having a family, all those great things. But until the laws and the things are changed to where a man doesn't, have any recourse and any control over his financial future, or at times his mental health and everything, because he can't get out of a legal contract that can change upon the whim of one party. I just can't advise any man, but especially a black man, to get married. Now, am I saying not to get married? No, you're a grown man, bro. Do what you want. But the numbers and the statistics all point to it's probably not going to be a successful situation. So my thing is this too: if a woman is trying to give you an ultimatum and say, "Hey, well, you got to marry me to be with me," she don't love you. She loves what she can get from you. That's just my own personal philosophy and everything to it. Because again, we go back a couple of generations. Marriages, marriage license and all these different things, they didn't exist like that. But yet still, you had, people that grew up with big families. You know what I'm saying? I can go back to my dad's, my granddad on my dad's side. They had 13 kids, and I think she had like 15 total. They say ain't no TV, ain't no technology back in the day, so only one thing to do. So in these cases where you had the biggest abundance of the black family being created, the marriage was there, but not all the legalities and things attached to it.
Yeah, I do agree that a lot of reform needs to take place. What is it? The custody thing? What is it, like 80 or 85% of the time the woman gets custody? That's like the default.
Yeah. I think it's higher than that. I think it's somewhere like 89, possibly 90, depending.
Yeah. And then even like the way that child support is calculated, alimony. I was watching a program, and this it's ridiculous. This guy was not the father. He had proven he was not the father of this kid, and he they were, he had been fined and everything else, but they were going to throw him in jail because he refused to pay. But he only refused to pay because he knew he was not the dad. But the way they have this set up in a lot of these states is that if you are married while your spouse has a kid,
Yep.
it doesn't matter that the kid was actually the mailman's kid.
Yep.
You're still on the hook. I was watching a program where this guy, he finally got to the end of the road battling so that he wouldn't continue to be fined and have to pay child support for a kid that was not his. And at the end, the judge told him, I don't know why you want to make a bastard out of this kid. Now, consider that statement. Really? Really? No, I'm not the one that did that. The kid has a dad. It's just not me. Go talk to him. So I totally understand that. And I also think that the whole kind of the state being involved in marriage is inherently problematic. I'm a Christian, and so in my mind, the whole sacred component of the marriage is the part that actually matters anyway. The state being involved, that I don't know how that benefits, unless I'm sort of entering an agreement with the expectation that it will end, and then you need an agreement for when it ends, what's going to happen.
Exactly. Basically, like I said, the state sanctioned marriage, man, and like I said, you only go back, a couple generations, it just wasn't prevalent like that. I mean, everybody's grandparents, and depending on how old you are, if you're, I'm a millennial, so you know what I'm saying. I think I'm like a mid to late millennial, however it goes. Go back a couple of generations, and the law was not involved in households the way it is now. And like you said, you're basically asking for permission to be in a relationship, and then you have to ask for permission to get out of that relationship. Not only do you have to ask for permission, but you got to pay for it. Even if you guys in agreement, they said that cost me a nice little $400. You know what I'm saying? To tell the state that me and my now soon to be ex-wife will want to break up. Not to mention the money we had to pay for parenting class. Even we didn't have to take a parenting class to make the kids, and just all these different things. So
yeah. See, that kind of stuff is so backwards. That is so backwards. So you don't have to take a parenting class to make the kids, but when you want to break up, now you got to take a parenting class.
and that's only for married couples. Now if you're a baby
That's
mama
crazy.
out here and you just two people that having kids or whatever, and then you go to child support don't give a damn about no parenting class.
Oh.
Hey, pay the money. It is what it is. We don't care. Even if you set up here in Florida, they call it time sharing. Most places, that custody agreement / time sharing, that's not even required then. But as a married couple, like you said, you got to pay you to go your own way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to MGTOW, I guess.
So, can you talk to us about your maybe your red pill journey?
Well, yeah. So for me, I never knew about. I seen the Matrix when the Matrix came out. I think I was a kid. I think I was like first Matrix came out like 2000, something like that, 99, 2000, whatever it was. But whenever the first one came out, it was just a movie to me. And then the whole red pill thing, I didn't even know. I never heard of the word until I got to this space. I guess I was red pilled without knowing what the term was. Shout out to Chronicles of Judah through him, and it wasn't really. He doesn't claim to be red pill or whatnot, what have you, but just that release from mainstream media, and I'm a victim because of racism and all these different things. That brother did so much for my mentality and woke me up to just actually seeing the world as it was. And then the Black Manosphere helped me add on to it from the relationship dynamic. I'd already had a lot of thoughts and things concerning marriage, whatnot, what have you, because just the whole prisoner thing. It's like I'm a freedom guy. I like doing what I want to do when I want to do it. I hate checking in, man. I know you're in the military, bro. Trust me. I don't know how I made it either. Okay, but I'm a guy that likes to. Whenever I want to go do something, I want to do it. I don't have to check in with nobody. I don't want to have to, make sure you're feeling good today and all this other stuff. Which that's just a part of the thing. But a lot of that stuff, man. Just brought me to it. And again, for brothers to run into brothers into this space to where a lot of those men were expressing some of those same sentiments and their experiences and things, it just really made me aware of just how common my life and my situations were that I thought was uncommon. Because like men don't talk. Like, we you don't tell you don't you don't I don't tell anybody my true issues and problems. No man does for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no psych. I don't have no therapist. None of that stuff. Hey, I go to the gym. I lift some weights. I grab a basketball. You know what I'm saying? I play some. You know what I'm saying? I play some full court, and that's my therapy. You know what I'm saying? If it's really really bad or whatever, you know what I mean? I may, vent a little bit or whatnot, but for the most part, those real true issues, men keep to themselves. But I think what happens is the the platforms and the space gives you the opportunity to release a lot of those things that may be bothering you or whatever without getting really personal and molding it to or connecting it to current events or topic or whatever it may be. And that way you get to get your ideology, your frustrations, your stress, all those things out at the same time without having to rely on a psych or a therapist or whatnot, what have you. And at the same time, you're improving yourself because you get the perspective of other men. You get to find out that you're not by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not weird. You're not overly aggressive. You're not, a beta, any of these things. I mean, you're human. And to hear that, man, a lot of the times it just woke me up to the fact of the matter that okay, you're not alone and you're not weird, you're not angry, you're not any of these stereotypical things like you said, going back to what mainstream society tells you. If you yell, if you if you get a little bit aggressive or whatever, what I'm saying, you can come here and do that because hey, that's what men do.
Yeah. So, did you have like a point in your sort of, your acquiring information, your did you have a point when you were kind of more kind of red pill raging?
Well, I don't think I ever had the red pill rage. Like my stuff has been pretty consistent throughout. I didn't have a rage because the whole rage thing came like way before, and they had a
Mm.
lot of stuff to do with a relationship with my mom. I don't have a bad relationship with my mom. Never hated her or stuff like that, but it was just things that her having her ways and me not understanding and then be able to put a lot of these things together, specifically from, relationship standpoints and whatnot. So my mom always tells me about how she told me, I told you she wasn't no good for you or whatever. That's refers to my baby mom, not my ex-wife, but so I got twins with my first kids, my first children's mom, right? And she was trying to tell me how, I told you she wasn't no good for you. An older woman and this, and you all young, and you don't. And I'm like, what? I'm like, why are you lying to me, mom? You didn't tell me none of this. You didn't tell me none of this BS. You did not tell me that. Y'all told me after the fact, after I told you she was damn crazy as hell. But you did not tell me. I brought her, you know what I'm saying, bring her home to mama, all this stuff, whatever, everything's chilling, and she just swear me down. She told me, but of course she didn't tell me because again, if she told me, then that would be her, what I'm saying, exposing a part of her. And like you just having that realization now that you can look back and be like, oh, that's why. And that's the much of a red pill rage, I guess, that I had is realizing that, like you say, it pretty much starts with your mom. Your mom doesn't, put you on game, so to speak, or tell you the ways of a female, because if she tells you the ways of a female, as a kid growing up and letting you know what to look out for, then that gives you a peek into her, and then it pretty much pulls the cover of the sheets off some of the ways she's moving. And again, it goes back to what we said: woman is a survivalist. Woman is going to conform to whatever, where she has the advantage, the upper hand, and especially in a situation where we have this woman trying to, raise a boy that's going to be a man, and to the point of where, hell, me, I was like, what? I think I was like 6'3" at like 16 years old. I was 16 years old. I'm 6'3". What are you gonna do to me? So, you gotta have me still. I love you. That's my mom. I'm not gonna, what I'm saying, I'm not gonna buck up against you. All these different things. So it's just so many different roles that, and layers of programming and, deception that you get from your own mom. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to look back on it and be like, oh man, that's messed up. But you learn from it. You know what I'm saying? Have the conversation with your mom or whoever it may be if you can. And just move forward, because you know what I'm saying. You don't forgive people for them. You forgive people for you. Because you know what I'm saying. If you hold grudges, you hold all of this hate and discontent or whatever for an individual, 9 times out of 10 that person not even thinking about you. They moving on with their life. You know what I'm saying? Even your closest family members. You know what I'm saying? Somebody cut you off, man, I suggest you cut them off too. Because trust me, believe, if it's like that, however it is, and they to the point of where they don't need you, they're not thinking about you or anything, or they just doesn't cut you off, you steaming and doing all that sort of stuff concerning them, hey, only person you're hurting is yourself.
Yeah, the red pill rage thing is interesting. It totally makes sense. I mean, if you can imagine, okay, I just found out that my wife is cheating on me. She's leaving me for the mailman or whatever. She's divorcing me. The state is siding with her. She gets to keep the house. I have to live in my car for the next 6 months, or in my off, at my job on a futon. I don't get to see my kids, not the way that I'm accustomed to seeing them. I mean, you can understand how a person that is finding themselves in that situation would be pretty angry. And if they got online and started talking, it would be pretty transparent that they're angry.
Yeah, but I wouldn't refer to that as red pill rage though. Like I said, that's just it, and that's the thing I think gets a little lost, or blanket statements of things that get to happen. Something that's actually happening like real time in somebody's life. You're trying to respond to it. I don't refer to that as, or I wouldn't I guess classify that as red pill rage. That's just somebody trying to cope with real life situation. Anybody's gonna be that's just natural human reaction. And actually, it's a good thing. A lot of times for brothers to get on here and vent and say what they got to say and get all their aggression out or whatever, versus, man, I've been down that road, bro. Like I said, my baby moms tried to ruin my life. I mean, ruin it. Okay, tried to affect my job, affected my money. I could have lost my house, my cars, everything. Purposely did this stuff. She did not need the money. She did not need the maximum amount of money, but purposely tried to take the maximum amount of money to destroy my marriage. And mind you, this is when my ex was pregnant with my son. You know what I'm saying? So she was grimy, dirty. So trust and believe me, at that point in time, had I been on the had I had a YouTube channel, hell man, yeah, hey, the stuff I would have been saying, bro, that would have been beyond rage. I would have been red Hulk raging. Okay, it would have been ridiculous.
we need another color. Need another color pill for that.
Yeah.
green pill.
I definitely would have been green
gamma
pilling it up,
gamma
man. Yeah,
gamma radiation.
Yeah, because she was trying to send me up through there, and it had nothing to do with philosophical thing or whatnot from the pills. That was just like real life, man. So a lot of the times, man, for brothers, especially if it's just a sudden change or not, hey man, I'm no Miss Cleo. Call me now. No, that's not me. But I'm pretty good at reading. When brothers got stuff going on, man. You see a certain switch or a change up in a brother, man. Hey, hit him up. Check on him, whatnot, what have you. Just hear him out. If he's ranting and he's going off, let him get his stuff off, and eventually, hopefully, he'll get through it.
Yeah, I think that's a valuable distinction to make that you just made between someone sort of having, coming to the knowledge of something after the fact, maybe even significantly after the fact, and becoming angry about it because now they understand why that stuff happened, or what the truth behind it was, versus stuff that's happening to you right now. And look, anybody is going to be upset, and anybody and everybody needs the opportunity to vent, to be heard. And we all need someone that will check on us. I remember Minister Jap did an episode. This is months ago, so this would have been, oh goodness, this would have been like April or May or something. And one of the episodes he did, it was called Suicidal Simping. And basically is the idea that these guys are getting themselves in situations and totally trusting and depending on this woman that has not shown herself to be, worthy at all. And they end up getting so destroyed and heartbroken that, they're contemplating suicide. They are, totally just messed up. And all of us have been in these really terrible, bad breakup situations where we needed our brother, somebody, to reach out to us, to check on us, to make sure that we were okay. Because to your point earlier, it is extremely alienating, gaslighting, and everything else to be feeling like you're the only one to go through these situations. And it's not like you can go to some place in the public square and start expressing some of the kinds of issues, some of the things that are happening, real stuff that's happening. Because folks will just act like they'll gaslight you. They just act like, oh, that's just you. Knowing good and well that they probably going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing, but they won't tell you.
Yeah, that's the, and like I said, man, that's one of the downfalls about the whole man thing, which I understand it. Again, you can't be truly vulnerable. You know what I'm saying, with anybody, whether it's your old lady, your wife, you know what I'm saying, your family, or especially like what I'm saying, your homeboys, whatever, because it's that that ego thing where you don't want to seem weak. But let me remind brothers, man, a lot of times, bro, you know, sometimes you gotta, and this is the hard thing I had to learn, because I hate this. I hate it. But sometimes you gotta ask for help before you need help. You know what I'm saying? That's the best advice I can give to, brothers with all ages, man. If you see stuff going so bad, bro, you know what I'm saying? Ask for the help before you really need it. Because if you get to the point as where like you gotta have it, it's like life or death, in the sometimes in the literal sense, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it may be too late, and it's not gonna be anybody there for you when you need them most. So I think that takes a lot of experience, maturity, and just self-realization to understand that. And if and when you're in that position as to where you need, what I'm saying, of course, don't just reach out to some complete total stranger. Hey man, that's what you got, people for that's in your circle. Or sometimes it may necessarily be professional help, because by all means, man, like I said, ain't nothing more important than you. All right, remember that, bro. Like I love my kids to death, whatnot, what have you, but what I'm saying, it's nothing more important than me, because again, without me, how can I provide for them? How can I protect them? You know what I'm saying? How
Yep.
can I be there to teach them so they become better than me? So you have to have that realization that there's nothing more important, what I'm saying, than me, because I'm the source of everything that's gonna, what I'm saying, be around me, that's attached to me.
Okay, so of course I'm seeing your tank top here, and I've seen this acronym, uh, you know, uh, in other pictures of you and things. Is this a acronym of your creation?
Yeah, this me. Yeah, this my brand. That's my actual brand, trademark, everything, whatnot, what have you. Big
Yeah.
ass black guy. BABG. Yeah, it's just something that I put together. I've been called that. It's crazy. A lot of people. I was in Jacksonville area for so long. And, I play a lot of basketball, so people would know me and know my face, but wouldn't know who I was. And it was this dude I used to work with, and they was like, "Hey, yeah, man, that big ass black guy, man." And he would always joke with me about it. And you know what I'm saying? This was like years ago though, because he's out now. So he's been out of the Navy now for probably like hell almost 10 years. But either way, I thought of it one day, because somebody it came back around again, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna use that. So yeah, this is me, accurate, crazy thing about it, man. White people like love it the best. Like, oh, ha, 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 a big ass black guy.
um, so is this something that you have for sale? Is this something that other folks can acquire? Or is this
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
just
I got my little Teespring link or whatever on my page, man. I can go to my page.
okay?
You want to support by all means. I got little Teespring shirts or whatnot. I just made some. Actually, speaking of the Hulk, I made like a little Hulk design. Came out pretty decent. Came out pretty cool. On there. So we moved around, playing with some things and whatnot. Got to get into a little bit more. I'll probably be able to upload a couple more things or whatever while well, I'll be able to work on a lot, but when I get back out, it'll be in full force by then.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a pretty big person too. I'm not as tall as you are. I'm 6'2", but I'm 275.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, yeah. You in the club, man. You definitely
I'm in
six
the
two
club.
six. You usually 6'2" and above is where we start. 6'2" is the height. You know what I mean? That officially gets you in that. I think everything above, every inch above, like 6'1", you get to be like 5% and like below. So like what I'm saying, just being that, and then of course the weight, man. Again, you know what I'm saying. Can't teach size, baby. You know what I mean? That's gonna be one of the one of my lines for my shirt eventually. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to order me some shirts, man.
Appreciate you. No problem, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and okay, so this is kind of so I have a series of videos on my channel. There's a playlist, Blue Pill Testimonials, and basically they're basically my simp tales. Shout out to Solo. Um, and so something that I've started doing when I'm interviewing folks from the space is to ask ask if you wouldn't mind sharing a colorful story, in the spirit of, we don't want folks to think that they're the only one.
Oh man. Let me see. So a simp tail. I gotta. Man. The only one I can really think of, man, because like I said, the whole baby mom thing, like that taught me a lot. But oh man, yeah, basically my baby moms. That's what it was. I was young. I got an excuse. So like I said, so I had this little chick. I went to my first duty station was in Pax River, Maryland, Patuxent River, Maryland. It's like I said, like an hour south or whatever of like DC. So I had this little chick I was dealing with or whatever. I called her Patrick because she like, what I'm saying, the Jamaican singer Patrick. Me and her doing our thing or whatever, la la la, everything's good to go. I run to my baby mom's at my job. We worked in the same building, but not the same command. And I see her run into her, la la la, and shoot my shot. What I'm saying, take my number, and she disappears. I think she went TAD, work somewhere else or whatever. And, you know, I didn't see her no more. But so I'm having my time in my life with Patra. You know, I'm a young, they like 20-year-old kid at that time. And I'm, you know, I'm let's just say I'm strengthening my back muscles. So, you know, that works out or whatever. And I run back into my baby mom's. And when I ran into my baby mom's, I had Patra in the car with me. So I dropped Patra off in the same apartment complex as my baby mom's. Holler at my baby mom, shoot a shot at my baby mom's. My baby mom's got a damn baby. You know what I'm saying? A whole baby. Like get a baby carrier. But I still shoot my shot anyway. I don't care. I don't know no better. You know. So, you know, come to find out or whatever, the baby mom's, like, this is a whole, like, I think at the time the baby was like, maybe like 9 months or something like this, and the baby dad's already gone. I'm not even considering this. I'm 21 years old. I just see a cute, you know, light-skinned chick or whatever. So I'm trying to get in there, get in where I fit in. So this is why I really got into the thing and ended up being like one of the craziest things I ever did was dealing with the single mother stuff, man. So just don't do it, bro. Dealing with the single mom and choosing a single mom, when, like I said, you know, to deal with on a serious basis, that's the biggest symptom like I can give you, bro. Don't do it. Just don't.
You know, it's interesting, Mike. It seems like a lot of us do that. You know, the first video in that Blue Pill Testimonials is called Baby Mama Drama. And so she, you know, this girl I was dating, she had a kid. And I was taught, you know, to be accommodating, forgiving, willing to look past, you know, certain faults. And, you know, so she had a kid. Okay, well, maybe she just made a mistake, not a big deal. So I'm, you know, we're hanging out and stuff. She lives about maybe 30 minutes away from where I live. And so, at this point, I was living with my parents. So I go and pick her up, come back to my parents' place, and my family is very inviting. We bring everybody in. Typical, you know, black family in that way. And so this kid became, you know, we befriended him. You know, I gave him a haircut and, you know, all of the regular stuff. So anyhow, you know, we're hanging out for, I don't know, maybe a couple months. And there's nothing going on. There's nothing physical. I mean, we're going to church together. All right. So I started to wonder what was going on, because anytime I would ask her about her baby's dad, she would get, you know, she didn't want to talk about it. And I was like, okay, all right, well, that's fine. We don't have to talk about it. I think you know where this is going. So what summarily ended the relationship was when she told me that she slept with her ex and she got knocked up. So now she was a 2-time baby mama.
While she's dealing with you, like while she's bringing
while she's dealing with me.
Oh man.
While
Savage.
she's dealing with me.
Wow, savage, man.
While she's dealing with me. But maybe to my credit, at least when she told me that, hey, you know, X, Y, and Z, this is what went down. First of all, at least she was willing to tell me. The second thing is, I was like, peace out. All right? Because you know. But the thing is that, you know, some of these brothers, they'd be trying to overlook that.
Don't do it.
I'm telling you, man, cats be trying to do that. Hey, yeah, it's not a good choice.
Yeah,
it's not a good
choice,
choice,
that, bro. You're too good. I don't care. I don't give a damn how fine she is, bro. I don't care. Whatever, bro. get out of there. Okay, if she still, for one, bro, if she has any type of connection with her baby dad, bro, again, shout out, I think it was Steph. Shout out to Steph's Cole, man. Again, the baby daddy will always have access to those guts. Okay, I'm telling you from experience. Just listen, okay. From my baby moms, that's all I'll say. I won't speak on that. But for my baby moms, we were separated for before I started dealing with my soon to be ex. I think we were separated for like a couple years, and whenever I wanted it, I could have it. And what really like made her fall out with me is she got back. She came, but she used to be in the Navy too. She got back from sea, and she moved from Virginia to Florida. She was going to Tampa. So she didn't have an apartment or anything anyway. So needed a spot to stay. So she came to my crib. I had my house, and all our kids were there, whatever. And she hopped out of the shower, no towel, dripping. You know what I'm saying? Still ain't got the water off her. What's good? And I turned her down. And like I said, once I did that, what I'm saying, that she couldn't believe it, and she was throwing it at me. She was throwing it at me like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, man. From that point on until pretty much I got married, and that was like the worst thing I could have ever did, because she took offense to that. So yeah, man, just know, bro. If her and her baby, her dad's cool, man, you it's somebody else swimming in that pool, dog. All right, just know.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for this, man. So this is going to air tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'd appreciate it if you would put a link on your community tab.
Oh, most definitely. No problem, man. I'll put it on my community tab. If you want to send it to me, I guess if you're gonna edit it or whatever, just send it to me in an email, and I'll go ahead and link it that way. So like, if you got to set up a Premiere or whatever, it'll come out, and then I'll make sure I share it real time when it comes up.
That'd be great if you can do that. And then if you're around, if you want to poke in and say, hey, what's happening, that'd be great.
Most definitely.
So it'll be 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, so thanks again for the interview.
Hey, thank you for the consideration, man. Thanks.
Oh, absolutely. And if you ever want me to return the favor, I absolutely would be honored to do so. And be safe out there. Again, thank you for your service.
Hey, thanks, man. Great. Have a great one.
Peace.